Hello, this is Zach, and this is my first part of my final exam tutorial videos for CGT 147. So I know I joked about making a fire tornado, and that was because I thought, it would just be ridiculous. Then I sort of figured it out. Obviously, it's not would I put this in a contest? No, but I surprised myself. I didn't really do much from scratch, but I know what's going on. But if you were to maybe mess with the node or change an import destination, it would take me a while to find it because there are three different solvers going on at the same time. However, what I did here was um, I started with the line because I knew that obviously I would need something for the particles. I need a source emitter. So I started with the curve object, resampled it to give it more points, so there's more dust particles or whatever that a tornado is using, and then I smoothed it to, it just feels right to smooth it. So, but then if you go into the source particles, you can see that yes, it did this automatically, but I can't explain it. So what's going on here is that this is for the source particles. So you are just giving the import. This is for the fuel for the fire that's spinning, but it might be the fire that's spinning because I did connect it. If you look here, I wanted the fire to also spin and not just, light like this is on fire, just light up on fire, just straight up. Whether it worked or not, I don't know, but in theory it should because I put it in the advection input for the pyro solver, which is where we put the gas wind for our candle. And I used the curve force, which is what helped me create the curve, to do it. Maybe I should have put it in the pop fan and the pop axis force because the curve force I felt like it wasn't strong enough for the twist. So I ended up doing a pop fan, which just makes everything faster and kind of just, pushes everything out in the air more in terms of the particles. And then the pop axis force I thought really was really helpful as well because that in terms of a global rather than local scale of this tornado got it to spin a good amount. And then I messed with the orbit speed and yeah, so it was pretty. At first I had no clue how I would do this, and then I kind of thought, well, if I can just get points to stay around this curve by making this curve as just making the curve a source emitter, could I then oh, I forgot to finish explaining, or at least try to explain, because I do, a lot of almost all of this was shelves tools, but I went in and changed some things. But the concept was, I thought the fact that I was able to do it in terms of conceptually getting what I needed for it to work was encouraging. But if you look here in the source particles, this is either for the fire. If I did get it to spin from the advect input, it is doing this because it is telling it that this is the fuel that is spinning, and then it's telling it to merge the fuel with the curve force. That's my best guess. Or this is just for the pyro, and it's just saying, look, here's the fuel. Here's what the fuel is going to be lighting on fire. Merge everything that's being lighting on fire and render it out, because I did have the smoke too. So that's probably what it is. But for the curve if we go in the dot network, which was the biggest inputs were you can't just do a curve force. You have to first. So here's where I made the source emitter. I just took the noise I would add noise to it now because I learned in my second thing about when I made lightning with the tutorial, and then did a lot and then went off from there. I learned a lot of how to create the noise, but also to how to animate it, which was something I've wanted to do and conceptually understood, but couldn't technically execute. So, which was a problem. But now that I have it in my toolkit, I'm pleased. So, but the trick, my biggest advice is you can't just do a curve force. For me, I guess it might just be because I'm very new to Houdini, but to me it wasn't strong enough. It kind of got it spinning, but all particles still were flying around. Like it would spin, but it was still shooting out particles as if it's like some weren't spinning and some were. So it was like there was a tornado within a frenzy of dots. So it was mess because I just wanted the tornado. So I thought if I added the axis force and then propelled it with the pop fan, which I thought was really cool, and then did that and then constrained the heights to the right amount that it would work, and lo and behold, it did, and it really does. Um, it really does spin around. Now the globally it does not spin around. The point does not. That I would change. That would be something that I would like to learn and improve. Oh, but when it renders, it doesn't just look like a flame. It looks, it doesn't. It looks. Uh, it looks like it looks like some vortex or something. I would love to add maybe some more noise in terms of getting texture for clouds or for the dust, but you can definitely tell it doesn't. And when I render this out, like it does start as the tornado, and it's spinning around, and then it eventually does do this. However, now to make it more believable, what I could have done was make the point. At least I could have just transformed this and animated it so it looks like it's moving around, because tornadoes don't just spin in one place. So that there's that. And maybe add almost a noise of rings to get the tornado to work. But overall, the big thing is obviously you need a source. So make a line for your tornado, because that's the body of your tornado. You got to resample it, give it more points, and then source emit it. You have to. That's the only way for this to work, because the pop axis force or I'm not sure, but the curve force only will work. It doesn't create your particle system for you. It's basically like, look, you got to give me at least something here in a negotiation. So if you set it up for it, it will do the rest, which was not at first where I thought, you just click it, it makes me a tornado, which is not the case, nor should it be. So understanding that you need a curve source and have it emit is really important. And then once you realize how, obviously I feel like this merge node is one of the most, it's a huge part. Forgot to tell, this is the other trick. The particles fall down if you just let it be normal gravity. You have to let it be zero gravity. This way, you can, when the axis force tries to spin, it doesn't have to fight the gravity pulling it down, which ruins the effect. So that was also the key. It does not work if you do not do this. This is probably the most important part, other than the combo of the pop fan, the curve force, and the curve axis force. So that's how you make a fire NATO, and hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.